recently read a book by the historian Paul Johnson called Creators, and it's a collection of biographies on some of the most influential creators of the last few centuries. And it's a fascinating read because he looks at a variety of people, from artists to authors to playwrights. And I love the way that Paul Johnson writes history, because he kind of writes it for people who aren't into biographies. And so he doesn't do sort of a boring history of this happened and this happened and this happened. He gets into the juicy details of what make people interesting. And history ultimately at its core is about people and the things that they have done and what they have thought. And so he does that in a great way with all these mini biographies of a variety of different kinds of people. Talks about folks like T.S. Eliot, who was a very conservative Christian, about as straight-laced as they come, and then people like Picasso, who was atheistic. He was superstitious. He left just moral chaos behind him. Others who were so self-absorbed in their own creativity that they just leached off of the charity of other people in order to create, and they just sort of felt like people owed it to them in return for the great product that they were going to give to the world. And then you've got folks like Jane Austen, who really didn't write about anything that she hadn't personally experienced in some way, and so took her own limited experiences and turned those into very accessible novels. You've got some artists who were so eccentric that they had to have things just a certain way in order to unleash their creative minds. And then you have people like William Shakespeare, who actually invented probably several thousand words and phrases that were unique to him, many of which we still use today. And so it shows that while people vary, the creative spirit is vast. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to us as we look into Scripture. The Bible presents God himself as creative. That's how he's introduced, is as a creator, bringing things into existence, and then it tells us that we are created in his image. And so the book brought up some interesting questions in my own mind, things like, is being creative the same thing as being artistic? Or are those different things? Is being artistic just one way of being creative? Do the things that we create, do they need to be original in order for us to be considered creative? Or can we take things that already exist and rearrange them in new ways? What about cooking dinner? Is that being creative? We may not think so when we cook it, but the truth is that we're taking things, we're arranging them in a certain way, we're doing stuff to them, and every time we cook dinner, good or bad, it's a unique product that we have put together. What about things like construction, where you're building things and it doesn't really strike you as artistic, but at the same time you're taking all this raw material and you're rearranging it, you're putting it together, and you're creating something. And what we find in the Bible is that God gives this cultural mandate to Adam and Eve. He says, be fruitful and multiply, go out and subdue the earth. It's saying you're not going to create things out of nothing. God has already done that. But God has done that, and now there's all these raw materials. And it's saying, go into the world, take these raw materials, collect them, rearrange them, organize them, rule over them in creative and expressive ways. And so I believe at the heart of the Christian worldview is the creative spirit. Now, are all worldviews the same when it comes to fostering creativity? Well, there's some worldviews that seem to, by their nature, be destructive. They tear things down rather than create things. There's a lot of examples of this, of course, in our culture today. Postmodernism being a big one, which is all about tearing things down. It's about questioning things. It's about saying, look, if we all experience the world through our own bias and we see the world through our own bias, then none of us have a real view of the truth. And so we're making truth claims, but those truth claims really are only true from our standpoint, from where we sit. And because of that, we can't trust or believe anyone else's truth claims. In fact, if people are making truth claims, it's really just a power play. It's really just people trying to exert power over each other, get other people to believe what they believe, to buy into their version of the truth so that they can have power in the world. It's deconstructing by its nature, and you can see this philosophy of deconstructivism out there. And as the name suggests, it's this common takes commonly held assumptions and beliefs, and it tears them down. It deconstructs them. It takes them apart. Everyone seeing through their own bias, and therefore being suspicious of everybody else's bias. By their nature, worldviews like critical theory really just criticize the world. They look through that lens and try to take things apart. They take aim at something to tear it down. And in many cases, we are seeing this kind of worldview expressed in places like Portland and Seattle, where they're literally tearing down their downtowns and their buildings and their culture down to the ground. And the question is, what will be built up in place of what has been torn down? Well, it's hard for those worldviews, because in order to not fall into the same trap and do the very things that they are criticizing other people of doing, there's not much you can build up. Because if you start to make truth claims, if you start to build things up, then the same criticism that you have been leveling at others can be turned back on you. It's like going to laser tag and shooting into the mirror, and the laser just bounces right back at you, and you end up taking aim at yourself. And so this is why you have these ugly pieces of art today that don't really say anything, because you can't really say anything, right? And so there's a new piece of art called The End that they just put up in Trafalgar Square, and it's hideous. It's meant to look like this big dollop of whipped cream with a cherry on top, and then there's this fly on it, and then there's a drone, and the drone actually has a camera, and you can go online and you can watch a live feed of what this camera is picking up right there in Trafalgar Square. Well, it's ugly. It has no lasting value, and I'm kind of a critic of modern art anyways. I think it's a flash in the pan. I don't think it's going to have any lasting longevity, but that's the kind of thing you're seeing today, built up in place of what has been torn down. And so what does this teach us as Christians? Well, I believe the world already has a lot of critics. What it needs is more creators, and not those who are just trying to make a political statement, because the best art is timeless. The best art lands on a common human level where people can access it, where it hits us in the common humanity that we share together, not just making a statement for the here and now. Paul Johnson in the book Creators says this: in the long run, political factors fade away. The popularity of the creative arts and the influence they exert will depend ultimately on their quality and allure, on the delight and excitement they generate, and on demotic choices. As a Christian and an artist himself, I think Paul Johnson gets it. I think he knows that there's a creative spirit within each one of us that longs to reflect our Creator. This is why Christians have contributed magnificent pieces of art to culture. You think of the grand cathedrals and the stained glass art and the paintings, and this is because many of these things were done as a form of worship. It was this idea of, I want to give back to the one who has created me with these gifts. And so the things that they created were taking their subjective experience of awe and trying to make them tangible in the world. And the effect was often for other people to view those tangible things and themselves be brought to a place of awe and to a place of worship. It's art that is done from a place of gratitude, from a place of hope, and even from a place of challenging us, making us look at the sin in our own hearts and actually helping us to be better people. It offers joy and hope to the world. You see this even in the person of Jesus. What was so attractive, there's many things attractive about Jesus and his message, but I believe one of those things is he offered something that people couldn't get anywhere else. and he was creative in the way he did it. He offered a worldview that liberated people, that gave hope to people, that offered salvation to people. And he was creative in how he did it. His parables, he would take common things in the world and he would weave them together into these incredible stories that people could relate to, that we can even relate to 2,000 years later, because he aims at the human spirit that we have in common. And so what does this mean for you? Well, Christians in recent days seem to have become known more for what we're against. We have become deconstructionists on our own, looking at culture, looking at the world and seeking to tear it down and poke holes in it, and looking at the things that we don't like. There's already a lot of critics out there. We don't need more cynical worldviews out there. There's plenty of those. I believe the Christian worldview offers something better. I believe it offers creativity. And I believe we are each created with this spirit of creativity. So we have something to offer. So let's embrace this creative spirit that God has put within each one of us. What's your canvas? You may think, well, I'm not an artist. You may not be an artist, but you have a creative spirit. Whatever it is that God has given you, you can harness that creative spirit and you can use it to bless the world, to point people to your Creator, motivated by the beauty of the one who created you. And so there's a lot of worldviews that are seeking to tear the world down. I believe Christianity can build up something beautiful in its place. We offer something, and we actually are something. Jesus said that he would build his church. We're a thing that God has created and built. Paul said that if you are a believer, then you're a new creation. You're this beautiful masterpiece of God's. And of course, all of this that we see around us is because in the beginning, God created and brought this to existence. And so let's go and unleash our creative spirit on the world, because I believe as we do, we will reflect well on the one who created us.